So he has a memo, and he signs the memo, and it says, a couple of years ago, don't use this term. And now he's using it because he has to. Because, baby, you know, think of it. I want to build a wall, okay? So easy. It's so easy. When this clown, Jose Reyes or whatever the hell his name, no, he's a baseball player, Ramos. Actually, Jose Reyes is a baseball player. He's a nice baseball player. But when Ramos got up the other day, screaming and ranting and going crazy, and I had all these reporters. Actually, the reporters were mostly on my side because they all had their hand up, and this guy starts screaming. So I even had liberal people from CBS. I actually said to the CBS guy, yes, and this guy stands up and starts screaming. So when and I actually got a lot of credit for the way we handled him. I didn't do anything except for the Times. And that's what I alluded to before. The Times said Donald Trump railed at him and screamed at him. I didn't scream at him, but he was screaming at me. And much worse than that, they said I wore a toupee. Can you believe it? I don't wear a toupee. And I proved I won't bring anybody up unless it's, I won't bring anybody up, but I don't. But think of it. I'm on the front page of the New York Times, and the first sentence in the first paragraph has this announcer, Hispanic announcer that nobody ever heard of, saying they call him something, which means he wears a toupee. And I don't. So I'm on the front page of the New York Times. I can't even talk about it. I'm embarrassed to talk about it. But they also said I was essentially screaming at this guy from Univision, who I happen to be suing for $500 million. They didn't mention it. They also didn't mention that his daughter works for Hillary Clinton. Do you know that? His daughter works for Hillary Clinton. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh. No, they didn't mention that. No. They said I wear a toupee and I was screaming, but they didn't. No, he's screaming at me. So we very nicely wished him out. And then we let him come back, and we actually had a nice talk. He actually seemed like a nice guy after he calmed down a little bit. You know, he's a very emotional man. But he said, you can't build a wall because you can't do it. So 2,000 years ago in China, we always get back to China, right? 2,000 years ago, the Great Wall of China. Oh, would we like to have a wall? This is a serious wall, okay? This is a wall you don't go through so easy. They built a wall 2,000 years ago that's 13,000 miles. Think of that. That's a big wall. That's a serious wall, right? This was 2,000 years ago. I mean, it took them like 500 years to build it, so, you know, I got to be a little bit, it took a long time. But 13,000 miles, that's a long time. They had no tractors. They didn't have Caterpillars. Of course, today we'd use Komatsus because they're made in Japan. You can buy them cheaper. See? How stupid is that? Because they devalue the yen so much that people are buying Komatsus instead of Caterpillars. Caterpillar stock is that. It's terrible. We'll change that around, believe me. Believe me. But they build this wall. Now, we have really 15, I would say, look, we have 2,000 miles as opposed to 13,000. But you don't need it on all of it because some you have natural landscaping, some you have a lot of places. And actually, 10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall built. Hillary wanted built. But they couldn't. I'm a great builder. What I do is best is build. I'm not a rendering guy. I do the building and then do the rendering. A lot of these guys come in with renderings and it never gets built. Does that make sense to anybody? I'm the opposite. I get it built. So one of the reasons it couldn't get built is they couldn't get an approved environmental impact study. Do you believe this? No, they had certain, certain snail darters and different things. They couldn't get it. They could not get an environmental impact study approved to build a wall, and they're killing people. We have illegal immigrants. You see that with Kate in San Francisco. You see it with Jamil. You see it with so many people. Last night in Massachusetts, I met some unbelievable families that have been devastated by illegal immigrants. They come into the country and kill members of their family. Last week in California, a 66-year-old veteran, a female, a veteran, 66, got raped, sodomized, tortured, and killed. Raped, sodomized, tortured, and killed. 66 years old by an illegal immigrant that they caught. Luckily. But this is what we have. We have stupid people in our government, and we have people pouring across the border. And you know what? We have great Border Patrol people. I went there. You probably saw that. That's why the hat is so successful, the white one, right? But I went there. Everybody wants to buy the hat. Now they like the white one. Then 2 weeks later, I wore the red one. The white one didn't sell so well. The red one saw. Crazy thing. But I went to the border, and I got to know the people, and I saw people, and, you know, it's rough stuff. It's rough stuff. And when I first came in, and when I first did my opening statement that I was running for president, I talked about illegal immigration. I was killed by the president. Rush Limbaugh, who I think is a terrific guy, said, Trump has received more incoming than any human being I've ever seen. Then he goes, has a news conference, and I think he's going to apologize, and he doubles down. I got credit for it. I got credit. No, they thought I was going to apologize. And I don't mind apologizing, but I have to make a mistake to apologize. And I was right. No, but I was right. So for 2 weeks, as Rush said, I took incoming meaning the media. Hey, hey, hey. In fact, that was my first 2 weeks. I said, is it going to be like this for the next year and a half? I don't know if I can make it. It was brutal. Now, many of those people that talk that way, many of those people, they apologize to me. Everybody says I'm right. And only because of me is everybody talking about illegal immigration. They wouldn't even be talking about it. They wouldn't even be talking about it. And we're going to build a wall, and we're going to get, you know, the gang members in Baltimore and Chicago, and these are some tough dudes. They're going to be out so fast. One of the first things I'm going to do is get rid of those gang members. We're going to be, you know, you look at what's going on with Baltimore. You look at what's going on in Chicago and Ferguson and St. Louis the other night. We are going to get rid of those gang members so fast your head will spin. You know, we can be really tough. I just met your cops outside. Those police are tough cookies. Those guys, we need law and order. We need law and order. I mean, they allowed, in one night, that first night in Baltimore, they allowed that city to be destroyed. They set it back 35 years, one night, because the police were not allowed to protect people. They weren't allowed to protect people. We have incredible law enforcement in this country, and we have to be. The head of the police in Chicago is a person I know, originally from New York. He's a phenomenal guy. He can stop things if they're allowed to stop them. He can stop it. Believe me. We have some incredible people, but we have to be tough. We have to be smart. You know, and I know you're going to have some bad apples. You're going to have problems. I see some of the things. You did too. And it's disgusting and it's horrible. But that's such a tiny percentage. The problem is the good work doesn't get shown on television. All of the good work, which is 99.9%. I mean, the good work with the police, it's 99.9%. That one little thing, and it's horrible. I agree. I hated some of the things. I don't have to go into them. But you know the same ones, because you were sick when you looked at some of them just like I was. But we need law and order. We need our police. They're great people. They do a phenomenal job. They're right now afraid to do anything. They're afraid. I mean, I know cities, I won't mention names, but I know cities where police are afraid to even talk to people because they want to be able to retire and have their pension. They don't want to be thrown off the police force. And then you wonder why there's crime in our cities. So we need a whole new mindset. We have to build up our military. We have to make our military so strong. We have to make our military so powerful and so strong that we never have to use it. We never have to use it. We have to also focus on what we have. Look, Ukraine. I want Ukraine to be healthy, vibrant, and good. But Ukraine is near Germany and all of these European countries. We're now sending F-22s. That's the newest fighter, the best in the world. We're sending fighters every. Where is Germany? Where are all these European countries? It affects them. It affects them. And we want to stand alongside of them, I agree. But why are we leading the fight? Putin hates us. He hates Obama. Doesn't hate us. I think he'd like me. I'd get along great with him, I think. Want to know the truth. No, he has no respect for our president, and our president doesn't like him in all fairness. They don't have good chemistry, to put it mildly, would you say? But I'd get along with these people. Think of it. Every country is ripping us off. Now Russia's ripping us off because in the Iran deal, which is going to go down as one of the worst deals ever, Russia is a big beneficiary because they're going to sell Iran missiles with the money we give to Iran. Think of that. So one of the biggest beneficiaries is Russia. Okay? But think of it. So Ukraine, let's take a few of these things, and then I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going back to New York. Do you mind? Maybe I'll go to the Grand Ole Opry tonight. Can I do that? I'd actually rather.